Okay, I'm sure we're all familiar with the likes of F-Zero, Wipeout, and Extreme G, but there was another futuristic sci-fi style racer that actually predated some of those other futuristic racing games for the Nintendo 64. That game was AeroGauge. Although visually and conceptually similar to other late 90s high-speed sci-fi racers that were the style of the time,
F-Zero,
it differed in a few ways to stand out as its own thing. Despite employing some interesting ideas, it has largely been overlooked and forgotten. The graphical style is in line with other offerings at the time. It looks pretty good, with a smooth frame rate, the vehicles are well modeled, and the environments are interesting.
Final lap!
There are some drawbacks to the graphics, but I'll get more into that later.
Oh, whoops.
The music is generic MIDI rock. The MIDI guitar sounds laughably cheap, but the music isn't bad. It's not all that memorable, but not bad. The sound effects are also unremarkable. Whee! Other popular N64 games in this particular subgenre of racing are Wipeout, Extreme G, and of course F-Zero X. These games all feature sci-fi vehicles flying down gravity-defying tracks with an emphasis on extreme high speeds, with some of them featuring weapons and other upgrades.
Yeah, I'm not doing so good.
Unlike other games in the genre where the vehicles either hover or make contact with the track's surface, AeroGauge's machines fly without being restricted to the ground. This sets the game apart, making it unique among its contemporaries.
Oh, Jesus Christ! That turn came out of nowhere.
AeroGauge was developed by Locomotive, a small Japanese developer responsible for a handful of games throughout the 90s, with some notable titles being Star Tropics, Transformers, Beast Wars, Transmetals, and Penny Racers. Maybe not the most solid of portfolios, but some decent offerings.
Yeah.
In AeroGauge, you pilot what they call an aero machine through 3D tracks designed to take advantage of the vertical freedom provided by the machines.
Well, I'm not doing so good.
Each machine has different stats requiring different strategies and whatnot. Other games in this genre tend to keep the vehicles locked to the ground for the most part, whereas AeroGauge treats the tracks as more of a guide to follow.
Oh, Jesus! Whoa! God! Oh my God!
Granted, flying higher or lower doesn't make the twists and turns go away. You can't just fly over everything. There are limits.
Ah, dang it!
There's a Grand Prix mode, single match, time trial, and a 2-player versus mode. All the standard racing game modes are here.
Oh, Jesus!
But there are some things missing from the game, notably any kind of power-ups. There are no weapons, no boost pads, nothing to give you an advantage against your opponents. You can get boosts by drifting through a turn and releasing and repressing the A button with the right timing, but it is quite tricky to get it right, and failing leaves you at a near standstill, while your opponents just zip on by. And speaking of opponents, the CPU racers are nearly impossible to beat. They essentially fly around the track at max speed, making no mistakes or slowing down at all. In order to win, you must master the drift boosts. But like I said, they are hard to get right, and the punishment for failure is brutal. The game also only has 6 tracks in total, which is not enough in my opinion. But with the difficulty being what it is, maybe 6 is plenty. It's more than I will be mastering. I couldn't get first place on any of them. Another complaint I have is the very limited draw distance. This was a common issue for N64 games early on. But the high-speed nature of this game just exacerbates the problem. It's a shame because the game looks decent otherwise. The reviews for this game were mediocre, hovering around the 5 or 6 out of 10 range, and I feel like that's fair. I'll be putting it on the "this is fine" tier. It's not bad, but the limited number of tracks, the poor draw distance, lack of any type of power-ups or assists, adding to an already unforgiving difficulty, makes it hard to recommend this to anyone who isn't a hardcore N64 racing fan.
Well, that was a mistake.
And hardcore N64 racing fans are already most likely familiar with this one. It makes sense that AeroGauge isn't as well remembered as games like F-Zero X, Wipeout, Extreme G, Extreme G2, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I think you get the picture.
Zoinkers.
There were just so many better sci-fi racers for the N64 that it was simply overshadowed. Not to mention the numerous other racing games outside of the futuristic sci-fi racing subgenre. Racing fans weren't exactly wanting for options. The game didn't sell particularly well, so it didn't get any sequels or follow-ups. It would have been interesting to see what they could have done with the concept. Adding power-ups, making the vertical aspect more impactful, and making the AI more fallible. This could have been something special, but what we're left with is just meh.
Oh, my ear itches. Oh God, my ear. My ear, it itches. I need to scratch my ear. Oh. My ear still itches.
What do you think? Did you play AeroGauge back in the day? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Nothing. Okay.
If you've made it this far and you're not yet subscribed, I would appreciate it if you could rectify that by tapping that button there.
Whee!
Anyway, thanks for watching, good luck on all the things, and I'll see you later. Bye. Requiring different strategies and whatnot. In AeroGauge, I zipped my coat, and I am unzipping it and removing my sweater. Thank you. I need to mark where to breathe. I need breath marks on here. The music is generic other games in the genre where other pilot what they like. God dang it, I can't read this line. My seat is sinking. Nothing to give you an advantage against Europa but it's not. Another complaint is the review. Anyone who isn't a wow, that's a long run-on sentence, adding to an already unforgiving not to mention the numerous